There we go. All right, so we are now going to be recapping the women's side of things from yesterday. So without further ado, let's dive into that. The first matchup takes us to Indianapolis, where Marion hosted Spring Arbor, and both teams were undefeated. Marion, the winner here, 68-48, and they held Spring Arbor to just 15 points between the second and third quarter combined. 68-58 the final score here, and Spring Arbor really struggled shooting 25 from the field, 18 from 3. They were really good at the free throw line, converting 16 out of 21 for 76%. The Knights were way better shooting from the field at 45, better from 3 at 27, but albeit not by a lot. Way worse at the free throw line, converting 5 out of 11 for 45%. And then looking at the stats for the visitors, the only one in double figures for Spring Arbor was Megan Zeitz with 16 points, 6 of 16 shooting, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 1 assist for her, 7 points for Elena Kolesa, 3 of 4 at the line with 7 rebounds, 2 points for Emma Smyska, 3 points for Ashley Weller. Smyska with 4 rebounds, 3 steals, Weller 4 rebounds, 2 steals. And Haven Chapman with 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals as well. And off the bench you had Madison Sonsini with 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 point for Rachel Reichard, which was at the free throw line in just 15 minutes of action. 4 points for Rylan Goodwin with 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 4 points for Aubrey Calloway in just 6 minutes of action, which was all at the free throw line though. 3 rebounds for her. Kylie Summer in 5 minutes of action, 4 points, which was all from the field with 2 rebounds. And for the Knights, you had Abby McNally with 10 points, another double-double for her, 10 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, or 2 steals rather, and 3 blocks. 5 of 8 shooting for her. And you had Madison Bailey, 3 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 at the line with 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. 7 points for Taylor Double, 3 of 7 shooting with 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 rebound, and 3 points for Zoe Wheeler, and 11 points for Kenna Kirby, 5 of 12 shooting with 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And then off the bench, Aubrey Frank, 3 of 5 shooting, 7 points for her with 1 assist, 4 points for Kennedy Coleman with 4 rebounds and 1 steal, 7 points for Violet Shuluga, 3 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from downtown with 1 rebound. And you also had Olivia Faust with 7 rebounds and 2 steals for her, with 1 steal, 7 rebounds. If I did not mention that previously, so that's what Faust had. And then 8 points off the bench for Eva Fisher, 4 of 6 shooting, really good numbers there. 3 rebounds and 1 steal. Marion, of course, I mentioned Marion's shooting numbers earlier, and that was your matchup there. And the next matchup will take us up to Huntington, where Huntington faced off against Mount Vernon. Huntington, the winners here. Huntington goes to 5-3. They are receiving votes, actually. Marion, I believe, is ranked number 5, I think, 5 or 4 in the country, and Spring Arbor is not ranked. Huntington receiving votes, Mount Vernon not ranked. And Huntington with a big third quarter, 27-18, and a big fourth quarter, 17-11. The difference there, 85-70. The final score. Huntington forced Mount Vernon into 20 turnovers, and Huntington only had 10 as a team, so that's obviously a big difference there. Mount Vernon, 40 from the field, 37 from 3. Really good at the free throw line, 15 out of 16 for 93%, compared to 43 for Huntington, 30 from 3 for Huntington, only 61 at the line for the Foresters, converting 19 out of 31. But, I mean, you look at the box scoring, and it's actually pretty even. You had 4 players for Mount Vernon in double figures, and for Huntington, you had all 5 of their starters in double figures, and 2 of their bench players in double figures as well. So obviously, that pretty much tells you all you need to know there. And for the visitors from Ohio, you had Anna Swisshelm, 20 points on the game for her, 7 of 14 shooting, 5 of 5 at the line with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 12 points for Angela Roshak, 4 of 6 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line with 2 rebounds. 19 points for Lily Shepard, 5 of 22 shooting, 4 of 12 from downtown, 5 of 6 at the line with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 11 points for Kylie Leibacher, 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown, 1 of 1 at the line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And off the bench, Melody Bluebaugh, in 9 minutes of action, 3 points, which actually, one of which was from downtown, 2 rebounds for her, and 3 points for Naomi Kaib. Off 1 of 5 shooting, she had 5 rebounds, though, in just 16 minutes of action. And then Cameron Cummings played 5 minutes and did not score, did not have any assists, steals, rebounds, or blocks. And then looking at the stats for the home team, you had 20 points for Annika Nelson, 7 of 12 shooting, 3 of 4 from downtown, with 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. 13 points for Allison Price, 5 of 11 shooting, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. 10 points for Liv Raby. She struggled shooting, but 6 of her 10 was at the free throw line, though. 6 rebounds for her. And you had 11 points for Kendall Yoakum. She struggled shooting early, but found her rhythm late. 4 steals for the junior guard/forward, and then 10 points for Kendra Sheets, and 6 of those 10 were at the free throw line. 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal for her. And then, pardon me. And then off the bench, you had Lauren Merritt, played really, really well. 6'4" sophomore, 10 minutes of action, 4 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 at the free throw line with 2 assists, 1 rebound. So obviously those numbers are really good. And then Addie Shank, 19 minutes of action, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 5 of 9 shooting for her. And that was your matchup there. And then the next matchup takes us to Goshen, Indiana, where the Pilots face off against the Maple Leafs. And the Pilots, the winners here, 85-58. And the Pilots are 6-1 on the year, so that's really, really surprising because they were projected to finish 6th. But obviously projections this year really don't matter. Rankings don't matter. The league is the most competitive I've ever seen it in all the years that I've been following the league, which is, I believe this is my 6th year following the league in terms of men's and women's basketball, and this is the most competitive I've seen it. And I know I mentioned this recording all my volleyball videos that I've done over the last couple of months, that the volleyball in the Crossroads League was super competitive. We saw tons of upsets there. It didn't matter the standings, didn't matter the rankings, didn't matter the records. What matters is the talent level. You know, and some teams just don't have the same talent that other teams have, and that's obviously a big difference. And then looking at the stats, first for Bethel, they shot really, really good. 46 from the field, 42 from 3, 94 at the line, converting 17 out of 18. The one downside for Bethel, they had 20 turnovers. As a team this year, they're averaging 20 turnovers a game. They averaged the same amount of turnovers last year or so. When Bethel goes up against ranked teams and teams with a lot more size, I really think Bethel's really, really going to struggle in those games. And really, other than playing Marion, you know, when they played Marion Wednesday, Bethel only lost by 13 to a top 5 team, you know, and they only had, I think, 13 turnovers. So obviously, you know, they've actually played really well against ranked opponents so far. But the deeper it gets into conference play, it's going to get a lot tougher. And then for Goshen shot way worse from the field at 36. They actually shot better from 3 than the Pilots did. Goshen shot 45. From 3, they were worse at the free throw line, converting 7 out of 13 for just 53%. Looking at stats for Bethel, you had 17 points for Isabel Scales, 7 of 9 shooting with 9 assists, 6 rebounds. 5 points Olivia Nickerson with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. 2 points for Dominique Stilley. 5 points for Gracie Lambs with 1 rebound and 3 assists. 11 points for Mariah Claywell. She struggled shooting, but was a perfect 2 of 2 at the free throw line. She did have 10 rebounds, though, 4 assists, 4 steals. So obviously those are really good numbers there. And then the Pilots had really good production off the bench, and this is something that they really have not had the past couple years that they have this year. They have way more depth on their bench, and multiple players continue to step up in big ways. Jocelyn Marshall, 11 minutes of action, 6 points, 2 of 2 shooting, which was all from beyond the arc, 1 rebound, 1 steal. 12 points for Isabel Leno, who's a freshman, 3 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown, 4 of 4 at the line, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. For her, Justice Williams, 11 points and 4 of 11 shooting, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. 16 points for Love Rain Gaskins, 5 of 8 shooting, 6 of 6 at the line with 7 rebounds. And then looking at Goshen stats, they only had 1 player in double figures, Ziane Finesi, 17 points, 6 of 13 shooting with 2 rebounds, 2 steals. 5 points for Lillian Nall with 3 rebounds, and a steal and a block. 6 points for Kyla Foster, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. 2 points for Luke Morales, 3 rebounds, 3 assists off the bench. Paulisa Izam, 5 points with 2 assists. 8 points for Ava Egolf with 2 rebounds and an assist. 6 points for Kyla Smith. 2 of those 6 were at the free throw line with an assist. And 9 points for Carrie Heiler, who really did really good shooting. 3 of 9 from the floor, 3 of 7 from downtown. 2 assists, 2 steals for her. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup takes us to Fort Wayne, where undefeated St. Francis, ranked 7th in the country, faced off against Grace, and it was all St. Francis here, 119-46, the final score here. And for Grace, they're without their leading scorer, Maddie Pointer. They did get Morgan Houck back fully healthy, but in this game, it was all Callie Gregory in the first quarter alone. She scored 26 of Grace's 40 just in the first quarter, and that was the difference in that game. Grace was also forced into 27 turnovers compared to 18 for the home team. And looking at the stats for Grace, 16 points, Emma Sperry, so she continues to play well. 4 rebounds and 2 steals. 4 points, Braylon Terrell with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 blocks, so really good numbers there. A pair of points for Riley Wetz with 6 rebounds. 14 points, Morgan Houck in her return. 3 of 6 at the free throw line. She struggled shooting, just 5 of 18, but she did have 3 assists and 2 rebounds. And Becca Longenbaugh struggled shooting, but she did have 2 rebounds and an assist. And then off the bench, Kate Thomas, 2 of 5 shooting with 6 rebounds, 3 points for Paula Fernandez. Grace really struggled. 25 from shooting from the floor, 16 from 3, only 43 at the line, converting 7 out of 16, compared for the home team, 59 from the field, 59 from beyond the arc, 64 at the line, converting 9 out of 14. So obviously that's a big difference. Callie Gregory led the way with 29 points, and now 26 of that was in the first quarter, so Grace's defense held her to only 3 points after that, but the damage had already been done by that point. Gregory, 10 of 15 shooting, 7 of 9 from downtown, 2 of 2 at the line, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist, as well as 1 steal. 9 points for Taylor Fordyce, 4 of 4 at the line, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 rebounds. Julia Mantilla, 4 of 6 shooting, 8 points on the day for her, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And 16 points for Renna Schweiderman, 7 of 12 shooting with 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block. 11 points for Isabella Gizzi, 4 of 8 shooting, 3 of 5 of that was from downtown. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals for her. And everybody scored off the bench for St. Francis except Abby Stoddard. Samaya Stout, 7 points, 3 of 3 shooting with a rebound, an assist, a steal, and a block. 7 points for Deanna Craig, 3 of 5 shooting with an assist and a steal. 8 points, Ashley Cox, 3 of 4 shooting, 2 of 3 of that was from downtown, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 11 points for Allison Show, 5 of 10 shooting, 1 of 1 from downtown, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 rebounds. 7 points for Emma Royst, 3 of 7 shooting, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 6 points for Rachel Harshman, 3 of 4 shooting with 3 rebounds. And that was your matchup there. Then the next matchup takes us to Upland, Indiana, where Taylor faced off against number 13, Indiana Wesleyan, and after a very, very interesting fourth quarter, to say the least, Taylor prevails here, outscoring the Wildcats 22-13, and now really 10 of those 22 points in the fourth quarter by Taylor were on free throws, so really everything was a little bit skewed there. 66-61 the final here, the first win over the Wildcats by the Trojans since December 9th of 2020, so nearly 5 years ago. And now for the Wildcats, I mentioned on Thursday that they're without Sydney Gooden due to an ankle sprain that plays off the bench. They're without Bria Garber, one of their best forwards, due to a knee injury. So obviously, the Wildcats are not fully healthy, and they have really struggled this year against teams with size. Now, obviously, there's still plenty of time left in conference play to get better. You have a second chance with all these teams if you lose the first go-around. So, you always take a second chance in terms of the Crossroads League, and that's what makes it, so important is, if you have a bad game, there's always a second chance when you play them a second go-around. And obviously the second go-around against Taylor will be at home the end of January, the second game and the second half of conference when it really matters most. And, barring any further injuries, the Wildcats definitely should have everybody back fully healthy by that point, and which will really, really help in terms of size down in the paint. Plus, it will be home court advantage, so that's obviously going to bring a little bit of extra fire out of the Lady Wildcats. At least I would imagine that being that would be the case. And then looking at the stats for the Wildcats, and really in terms, a couple of things. They had 20 turnovers. They were forced into 20 turnovers, which is 6 turnovers more than their season average of 14. They did force Taylor into 19 turnovers. Now, as a team this year, the Wildcats are forcing their opponents into 20 turnovers a game, so that was actually pretty even there. And now the big difference was the shooting. The Wildcats shot just 34 from the field compared to 43 for the home team. The Wildcats shot slightly better from three, albeit by not a lot, at 31% compared to 25 for the home team. And both teams pretty even on free throws. 18 out of 26 for the home team for 69%, 8 out of 12 for the visitors for 66%. So really everything was even. The difference was the points off turnovers. That was the biggest difference there, with the Trojans, definitely scoring more points off turnovers, and that ended up being the difference. Looking at stats, Emily Mattingly had a really good game for the Wildcats, and really for the past 2 games, she's actually played really, really well. 2 points off her career high. What she did yesterday, 16 points for her, 6 of 13 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals though, so really good numbers there. 12 points for Kylie Bettinger, 4 of 12 shooting for the junior from Akron, 3 Ohio, 3 rebounds and 1 steal. And Tori Thompson did not score, but she did have 2 rebounds, 1 assist though. And Ellie Kelleher, 8 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 from the line, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 11 points for Ayla Krieger, 4 of 11 shooting, 2 of 5 from downtown, 4 rebounds, 1 assist for her. And then off the bench, you had Corinne Grivey with 6 points, or Corinne Grivey, I should say, Corinne Grivey, as I now know the correct pronunciation. I'm so used to saying it the other way, I had to catch myself there for a second. 6 points for Grivey with 1 rebound though, and then 1 point for Jade Hovey. That was at the free throw line. She did have 3 rebounds and 3 assists though. 7 points for Addie Hovey. Struggled shooting at 3 of 7, but she did have 4 rebounds and 2 steals though. And then looking at the stats for the home team, pretty much it was all freshman Casey Werfel, which was as expected. She's a freshman this year and is just an unbelievable player. 27 points for her. Now 10 of those 27 were late at the free throw line, so those numbers are a little bit skewed. The Wildcat defense held her to only 3 points after halftime, at least offensively outside of free throws. You'll obviously take that all day if you're the Wildcats. 8 of 16 shooting for her, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals. 13 points for Selena Blount, 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown, and I didn't know that she shot from downtown, being 6'2". You obviously don't expect that if you're the Wildcats. 14 rebounds for her, so really no surprise there. A double-double with 3 steals and 2 blocks. And then 10 points for Maddie Allen, 4 of which was at the free throw line. 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. 2 points for Quinn Kelly. 3 points for Kendall Saitsima in 6 minutes of action, which was all from downtown. 4 points for Marissa Trout with 4 rebounds, and 6 points for Emma Anselit with 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 rebound. And that was your matchup there. And then looking at, of course, or previewing the games on December 3rd, you'll have Taylor up at Bethel. You'll have Spring Arbor at Mount Vernon Nazarene, St. Francis at Indiana Wesleyan. That's obviously going to be a huge game for the Wildcats. Number 7, St. Francis, undefeated this year, are the Cougars. And although for the Wildcats, they're going to come out, I'm sure, with a lot of extra fire after a tough loss yesterday. The Wildcats will have home court advantage on December 3rd. They have not lost back-to-back games against St. Francis in 7 years, at least at home. So obviously having home court advantage is going to be really, really important in that one. And Huntington will be at Grace, and Goshen will be down at Marion. And those will be all of your games coming up on December 3rd. Of course, now that we're at the Thanksgiving break, so it's hard to believe that it's almost Thanksgiving, but at least we have at least a little bit of a break, and it's going to be really, really interesting. Obviously that game against St. Francis on December 3rd, it's going to be really, really tough for the Wildcats. I know they can do it. I know they've struggled so far this year, but it's still early, so everything comes as a learning experience, and I'm sure they're going to do fine, and I know that they can do it and get that first ranked win this year, which obviously having a huge ranked win, especially at home, I'm sure would definitely make them feel a lot better, especially going into another tough game the following Saturday on December 6th at Huntington, which the last 2 meetings at Huntington have all been barn burners compared to blowouts at home. So obviously it's so tough to win games on the road. The league is just so competitive this year, and obviously having home court advantage is so important. But we'll see how it goes. It's still going to be a long season. The Wildcats, they're going to be just fine. I know they'll be fine. Being a big fan of them, supporting them, they're going to be just fine moving forward. especially for the second half of conference play, the end of January. That's when everything matters most. So obviously they should definitely be a lot better at that point. And obviously all you can do is just get better after each and every game. That is for sure. Just, continue to get better. Work on some things in practice, clean some things up. And that's all you need to do. But most importantly, get some much needed rest over this Thanksgiving break and then come back raring to go and have a little bit of extra fire under you going into that tough home game against St. Francis on December 3rd. So thanks so much for tuning into this video. And if you did enjoy it or if it was super helpful to you, please either like, comment, or subscribe. I really appreciate any feedback that you provide me. And please keep sharing my channel with your friends, your family, anybody that you know. I really, really appreciate that. And again, thanks so much for tuning in this video and have a blessed Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with your friends and your family. And I'll be recapping all the videos on December 3rd, Thursday, December 4th. So obviously I'll be watching that Indiana Wesleyan game, online here at home that night. And seeing how all of it goes. And let's get that W, that's for sure. So again, thanks so much for tuning in this video. Have a blessed Thanksgiving and a blessed week ahead and a blessed early December. That is for sure. Thanks so much again for tuning in this video, and God bless.